Good morning. I'm trying to thought capture. Okay, so we've been talking about the story of Esther this week. And a thought popped up. Oops, sorry. There's me roaming around the kitchen. A thought popped up. And I'm trying to catch it before I don't forget it. Mordecai asked Esther to go before the king because he infuriated Haman by not bowing down to Haman. Haman ego trip, and because Mordecai actually did have a position, or Mordecai, however you're going to pronounce it, he has figured out a way to, like, legally figure out a way to get rid of this dude. So he attacks, like, oh, okay, he's Jewish, so let's get rid of all the Jews. He didn't bow down to me. Why? Well, because he don't bow down to no other God but the God he served. It ain't even about you, Haman. Whole nother story. So the thought of, we got Esther. Esther was an orphan. Mordecai took her in. She with him. And then, when Vashti is no longer queen and they're looking for another one, they come, they snatch up Esther. Esther's then taken and put in this harem with all the other women that's being groomed to be potential future queen. Okay. So she experienced the loss of her family. Then she, in a way, experiences the loss of her uncle and what she thought that life was going to be like after he took her in. And then she's taken, literally, in for the king's harem. And now she's adjusting to that life and what that looks like, this whole training process. Then she gets selected to be queen. It's like, okay, whoa. But what does that even mean? So, like, you a queen with what? Because, one, you ain't the only woman. You don't have no authority to do nothing, do you? So, what does that mean? You just, like, what does that even come with? In the midst of this, she ain't supposed to say she a Jew. Okay. By reference of her Uncle Mordecai. Okay, so this is what hit me this morning. We were studying and somebody said the God is not mentioned in the book of Esther. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, but it was him doing everything. It didn't click until this morning, like, wait. God, it don't say nowhere that the angel of the Lord appeared to Esther. You know what I'm saying? The Spirit revealed to Esther. God spoke to Esther. She don't get the burning bush moment. She don't get and the prophet told Esther, the man of God, the woman of God. No. What she gets is her uncle saying, look, we got a situation. They about to wipe out all our people. And I'm gonna need you to do something about it. And she like, are you serious? Like, first of all, I'm in this position. I didn't even pick this position. I didn't ask for this position. And this position don't legitimately come with that much. Like, I can't even go in the king's courtroom without his permission. This ain't no normal husband-wife hookup. I can't even go around him without basically, you know what I'm saying? It had to be a specific person. He got to call me. Like, my whole life been somebody else deciding when they was going to take me in or what I was going to do. I ain't pick my occupation. They didn't change my name up in these pieces. Y'all know my name is not Esther. I can't even go by my own name. So let's talk about the identity. Okay? And so it's her uncle telling her. And that tripped me out because I'm like, wait, she didn't have the luxury she didn't have like Mary, the angel came down and was like, blessed art thou among women. It was like, okay, that was an angelic experience that gave you that, okay, this got to be him. This is God. Gideon, he in there hiding, and what happens? He has this experience and he realizes, okay, at some point he even prays God, look, God, if I'm supposed to do this, would you do this? Make the fleece wet, make the flow dry, vice versa. And he knows, okay, this is God. Moses, burn the bush. Okay, this is God. I done seen the serpent change. I done seen okay, yep, this him. Esther, don't quite get those luxuries. Her uncle is the one who is telling her this stuff. And he don't even say the Lord told me to tell you. You the one, sis. The best he can pull is, okay, she's trying to tell him, look, you asking me to basically commit suicide, huh? You want me to walk up in there unannounced? Do you know the rules? Like, I do understand protocol. They made me train for this role I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? And he like, well, basically, have you thought, you think that they ain't gonna find out you're Jewish? And that this ain't gonna come to you? Maybe the whole point is for such a time as this, Nisi. I'm imagining some tension in this conversation. Because he automatically thinking, okay, look, you our best move. And she like, it was your bright idea, for me not to say nothing in the first place. Maybe if they knew I was Jewish in the first place, he wouldn't have picked me to be queen. We wouldn't even be here right now. I don't know. That's an added thought. Don't add to the Bible. Read the book for yourself. Ask Holy Spirit to lead you. But it was that thought, it's one thing when you 100% believe that God done told you to do something. You done had a vision, you had a dream. I mean, even if you done had somebody prophesy over you and you legitimately believe it's from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? If your belief can carry you at least 50% of the way, because think about it. When you take medication, it's called the placebo effect. Look it up, because I probably mispronounced it. But if I can take a pill and I believe that the pill is going to help me do something, and you test all these people, you're going to get about half the people that's going to be like, yeah, I felt better. Why? Because in their head, they made themselves feel better because they really believed it. So their body started responding to the belief that they was carrying. You know what I'm saying? Faith is a trip. Faith don't just work in one isolated area. Faith got dimensions. And so even in medical terms, if you believe something and you get stressed out enough and your body will start to manifest some stuff, it don't even have to be truth, and your body will manifest it. Your body will manifest sickness and physical pain even when you don't actually have nothing wrong with you other than your thoughts is troubling you. Somebody can tell you you got something and your body, if you really believe it, your body will start acting like that. Prime example, yesterday, they had this thing with Angela Davis and Jane Elliott, and I was trying to tell my husband about some of the experiments that Jane Elliott did. But when she did that whole blue-eyed, brown-eyed thing with them kids and made the brown-eyed kids wear that collar and told them, brown-eyed people, they don't learn good. They're argumentative. You got to look at the whole video to watch it because she reenacted this a lot with older kids, and people have reenacted it since. And it doesn't change much. It's not that they were naive children. They've done this with college students. And they was triggered too. But what happens is, she then goes on to quote-unquote teach, but she responds to the brown-eyed children in the manner that she told them they was. She responds, she reprimands them more. She is, more sarcastic. She provides less support. She points out, she denies them recess and, little things. And these kids go from these happy, normal kids to being just like frustrated kids. They irritated. They can't academically even perform the way they did the day before. Their minds are processing slower because they are wrestling with the belief of, I think I know this information, but I've been told I'm not smart. So how does my mind make a balance between what I've been told about myself and who I actually am and what I know I can do, but I've been told I can't, so maybe I can't? Okay? They go through this time period, and then she switches. I don't know if it's the next day or what have you. I can't remember. But by the way, at the same time, she elevates the heck out these little blue-eyed kids who don't have the collar, right? So then she decides to switch it. And she says, today, basically, I made a mistake. My bad. Actually, what the truth is, brown-eyed people are smarter. So you see something like the brown-eyed kids like, huh? And they hesitant. Like, I don't know. She says, take the collars off and give them to the blue-eyed people. The blue-eyed people stunned, like, come again? She does the same thing, right? Elevates the browns, relegates, really gets on the kids with the blue. Just reinforces it by her comments, behaviors, actions, the opportunities they're afforded, what have you. The blue-eyed kids is pissed. I mean, they putting their head down. They just like, it's worse for them because they felt like superior. And then all of a sudden you take a superior person, make them feel inferior. They was worse than the kids, the brown-eyed kids. The brown-eyed kids was basically almost like they was high because they was like, woo, this euphoria of, I'm not an idiot. I knew I wasn't stupid. I knew I deserved opportunities. You can tell them kids must have wrestled with that thought when they weren't even around her and felt a sense of liberty that they was like, whoo. It didn't in turn, however, impact how they treated the kids with the blue eyes. Like, none of them said, you know what, wait a minute. I know you must be playing games because that's not true. None of the brown-eyed kids went and visibly affirmed the blue-eyed kids. They was like, that's what you get. It ain't me. You in the situation, not me. Long story short, it's the thought of you got Haman trying to make the Jews, basically the brown-eyed people, and saying, look, no, we're going to get rid of all of them. We're going to wipe them out. Why? Because he was personally ego tripping. But then you have Mordecai, who was telling Esther what she needs to do. And I got to give, most of the women in the Bible get gypped. I got to give her credit. The fact that she was like, okay, look, all right, for the first time, you know what? I'm about to call the shots. Since you basically asked me to kill myself, okay, this is what we're going to do. First of all, everybody about to fast, okay? Everybody want to live, everybody about to fast. This ain't no one-woman show. I can't pull this by myself. We gonna fast, okay? Inference here, why they fasting? They're not fasting like popularity going to diet, okay? She fasting because she need the favor and clarity of God. So the word God may not pop up, but we can look at the fact that this woman was like, no, we need a whole nation. We got to fast. We fasted for 3 days. Beautiful choice of number, by the way. We fasted. And she starts to, for the first time, get to give out some commands and some orders. And she ain't giving them to just one person. She said, no, you better tell all of them. Now you got a queen being a queen. Because now she's sending out a command for people to follow. Now you got somebody saying, okay, this is leadership right here. Okay. And then she still has to, each day, what I believe, you check the Bible for yourself because it don't say the Holy Spirit did this or that. But I don't know how it could happen no other way. Then have the courage and strength to go before the king the way she did. So, Chandra, what's your point? Here's my point. And I'm going to redo this and condense this. I hope. Maybe not. But the point is, sometimes we waiting for this audible voice of God to give us this surety and clarity about our next steps. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. Sometimes it's just going to be a messed up situation that we ain't even start. I ain't picking with Mordecai and Haman was ego tripping. But it's the thought of, okay, Mordecai, you asking her to give her life. Someone could flip it on you, Mordecai, and be like, bro, you didn't want her to admit she was a Jew. But you sitting there refusing to bow, making it obvious that you're a Jew, and getting your whole people in trouble. Like, they weren't even messing with the Jews like that. There was no big edict out to knock them out until you ticked off Haman. Bro, if you just would have put your bow on to Haman or not even said you was a Jew and been like, I'm not bowing to you because personally, bro, you not all that. Anything. No, you got to bring in you got to pull your card and you put your card out. You put your who you were out, who you serve out, and then that exposed all the people who serve the same God. But you telling her not to pull her card. And then you say, well, for such a time as this, Mordecai, what time was it when you made the choices you made? You could have just got yourself hung. No, you got to get everybody in trouble. And now that everybody on the line, now it's my turn to do something. Such a time as this, now it's the time for me to make a move off some stuff you done started. Y'all know the end of the story. Them people were saved, right? Thought being, you may be in a situation you ain't caused this situation none. Literally, somebody in your family got you in the situation because of some choices they made. Let's take some lessons from Esther. Unlike me, Esther didn't go to Mordecai and be like, bro, I want you to see how did we get here. She didn't do that. Some of y'all want some answers from your family members as to how they put you in the situation you in. They ain't got them. Like, low-key, they did the best with what they had at the time. They made a choice. And you like, well, their best was not great. I'm sure it wasn't. That tell you how messed up the situation was. They was working. I mean, at this point in the game, trying to figure that out, you're not going to get closure. So, I mean, ain't nothing they going to say going to make it better or undo it. So at this point, press forward. Second lesson I put out of that was then she realized what it meant to be a queen. Not to play the role. She was no longer playing the role of for the pleasure of others or for the comfort of others. At this point, she was like, okay, this is what we about to do. If I'm going to do this, this how this going to be done. No, I'm not just walking in there. No, this how this about to go. And no, I cannot do this alone. So this is how y'all jokers going to have to help and support. And this is how long this going to look. So some stuff some other people may have gotten you into, whether it be generationally or what have you, being able to take that point where you're like, yeah, it's done got so bad that at this point, I got to now exercise my authority on my terms, my way, because it's your life on the line. Is your life going to be impacted? Because at this point, they can't help you. They can't save you at all. Like, seriously. But, ironically, you can save them in one way or the other. But you're not going to be able to save them on their terms. But you're also not going to be able to save them without their participation. And that participation is going to need to be on your terms. As led by the Lord. She said, no, we fasting. And some other stuff. Read the book. And we're going to fast for this many days. No, you're not going to rush me. You're not going to make me move before my time. Because now I'm not just playing the role of. I'm using the role to fulfill now the assignment. So if I'm going to take this assignment that this is the time for this to be done, then this is what this is about to look like. Esther wasn't ego tripping. Esther for the first time was realizing, okay, I can't just keep doing what people telling me to do for the pleasure of other people to go along, to get along, to be okay. I can't be so grateful to my uncle for taking me in that I'm still letting him call the shots. Even though I know he cares about me. Even though I know he has my best interest and he is a good person. But there's a time when you got to be able to say, you know what? At this point, I have to step up and I have to lead out in this area if I'm going to do this. So I encourage you. I mean, in the strategy that she used, that's what I'm saying. The name of God may not be mentioned, but man, if that ain't God, I don't know who it was. To give her the wisdom, understanding, and discernment to do it the way she did it. I mean, that reminded me of Abigail. When she had to finesse David, when David got mad and was about to come in there and wipe out all of them because of her little foolish husband. Was it Nabal? Abigail finessed the mess out that situation. With all her handmaids, girls, and servants. Once again, you can't do it by yourself. And you can't rush because they had to sit there and make. Y'all read the story. Look up Abigail and David. Read the story. She did the doggone thing. Same thing here. On this, shout out to Esther. We've been studying her this week, but it did not hit me till today. That we feel okay when we feel like it's directly the Lord telling us to do something. We got a direct revelation from him. But it's sometimes when some stuff done popped off, we didn't start it. We ain't initiated. We already dealing with 2 or 3 previous traumas and family issues. And then somebody close to us come to us and expect us to solve a situation that's so much bigger than us. And we like, what? So now it's on me to take care of all of this? Are you for real? Well, yeah, I mean, you seem to be in the right, the right place where you can be. Okay. All right. This is what we doing? Okay. And taking that and then being able to say, then on your own, Lord, I may not have heard directly from you, so then I'm going to just come to you myself. Okay, what are we going to do? Fasting, prayer, connecting, letting people know, okay, this is what needs to happen. Because sometimes when people always come at you wrong and left, you be real people hesitant. And then, ironically, when the stuff hit the fan, all of a sudden, your name pop up. Oh, this person, wow, that's interesting. Because you got to keep in mind, if the Jews knew she was Jewish, if Mordecai knew she was Jewish, the people who hung with him, they know it's his niece. People know who people related to, right? People know. And then for her to get picked, and I'm not saying she was in her hometown or nothing, because I don't believe she was. I think she was in Persia or whatever. But the thought is, the people who was Jews were probably like, and she's sitting there, the queen, and acting like she ain't no Jew. I'm sure it was some conversations going on that she probably had to completely dismiss. Thankfully, it wasn't no internet. I feel so bad for people who have to serve in high positions, and the whole world gets to watch their life and treat them like a TV show instead of a human being. Another story, different day. But you all, with that thought, let's be gentle with our family. Let's be gentle with other people. And then let's be courageous when it comes to, there's going to come a time when you're going to have to step up. And you think you're already there, but you're not. Because right now you playing the role because they done messed with your identity so much and shifted you so much. The role you in wasn't even the role you picked. You really doing the best with what you got. Ideally, you're doing phenomenal, by the way. Like you are A+ at what you're doing right now. That you didn't even fully pick. You just worked with the tools you had. And made life come out that mess. So I encourage you, when the stuff shifts, and you got to shift to being the one that's the driver and not the passenger, even when it look like you about to drive off a cliff, trust me, you supposed to be the driver, because anybody else gonna take the car off the cliff. But with you driving, it ain't gonna go off the cliff, even though it look like it will, because you ain't gonna be by yourself. You the one that got the power to have the legion of angels. So that's why sometimes really messed up stuff seems to happen to really nice people with really good intentions. Because those people know it's something about those moments that cause those people to have to be birthed and to have to realize who they are. That's when the identity becomes more than just a role. It becomes them. And that's when who they are has to come out. She was trained to please a king, to walk, to curtsy, to smell right, to look right, irregardless of what she thought, felt, to speak a certain way. And in this moment, there is no training on how to please somebody necessarily. However, keep in mind, she didn't abandon everything. She used the role to get her access to complete the assignment. You are where you are for a reason, but it may not be the reason you think it is. Even if it's your job. One lady said, don't confuse your job description with your assignment from God. Your job just gives you access to your assignment. So whether you be in an office, in a hospital, in a school, thank God He's going to give you access to some places and some people that without that thing happening, never would have had access to those people. You may never have access to them again. And it may not make no sense. You may be like, how did this happen? Because He's putting you in a place where you can have access to do what He needs you to do. But you're going to have to believe that you hear from Him. And that you have authority through Him to command some stuff. Because you do. May God bless you and keep you.